What is up, everybody? Episode 148 of the Patio Slate podcast. The boys are back in town. You guys ready to look into the future? That's what we're doing today. We're looking into the future.
The year 2000?
No more looking 20 years in the past.
Okay.
I'm Anthony, joined by Tony and Nate. And I got to ask, I know you guys are doing good, because I always ask that. But is it New Year, New You, or New Year, Old You?
I'll let Nate go.
You know the answer to that.
I'm going to go New Year samesies.
Yes. Yeah. I would agree. I mean, I'm the same.
New Year, old me, new songs, old songs.
New old songs.
New old songs. Yeah, exactly.
Big aspirations, status quo.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm New Year, same me, looking all the way into the future, into the year 2023. And I'm excited to continue to do this with you boys because we've had a really good week. And this is the first time, full disclosure to all you podheads out there, to the three of you, we haven't recorded an episode together in 3 weeks, right?
At least, I feel, yeah.
Yeah. Nate was abroad, just globetrotting all over the place and checking out different countries and checking out record stores in different countries, which was really cool. Check our Instagram page for that stuff. But yeah, it's like riding a bike, right, guys? We'll get back on it. We'll figure it out. We'll know what we're doing here shortly.
We're still figuring it out.
Yeah, we were pre-recorded into the future. I was technically in the future when you think about time zones. Now we're talking about future records. We're futuristic.
Future sex love sounds. Is that what we're talking about? That's the big reveal tonight.
Actually, before we do that, it is fun to look back. Last week, we looked back 20 years with Brian McTernan looking at the Thrice Artist in the Ambulance album. So if you're new from last week and returning, hey, we appreciate it. Like, this is what we do. Some weeks we do album deep dives. Some weeks we have interviews. Some episodes, it's just the three of us dicking around like this one.
That's true. And we do appreciate anybody that's checked us out this week because they listened to the episode with Brian last week, which was one of our favorite ones to record, one of our favorite ones to roll out. Everything about it was just so perfect. So I'm happy that one's out into the world, and then everybody seems to have enjoyed it to this point. And Brian was phenomenal.
Absolutely. And if you liked that, I mean, 2023 is a 20-year mark for a lot of landmark albums for us. So hopefully we can block down a few more. And anyone listening to that last one with Brian will hopefully be in for some more surprises. I think we'll pull some stuff.
Yeah, we're not giving anything away though. That's some intel and IP that we're not letting out. Letting that cat out of the bag.
Don't show them how the sausage is made. We're not Newman and Kramer in the apartment, you know. So yeah, we're gonna look into the future, but we're about a little over a week now since Fireworks released their new record, which Twan, you get to see them open for the Wonder Years back this fall, right?
Yeah, that was October.
Yep,
I think it was October. Yeah, it was great.
So in coming up with what we were going to do tonight, this was one you told us that was going to be on your list of most anticipated for 2023, but it dropped on January 1st, 2023. So we got it. We've had it now for us a couple of days and have listened to it a little bit. What are your first thoughts? I know you're a big fan. You turned me onto them.
Big fan. Yeah. I was thinking back, not to give the whole history here, but dating back to 2006. The We Are Everywhere EP dropped and Run for Cover. And even before that, they had a demo. And then Gospel, O Common Life. I love them. Love them, love them, love them. So this is an album that was hinted at for like 4 years, 3 or 4 years. And even the name, like I think people knew what the name was. And every year that went by, I was like, are we going to get that? And then when they announced that tour with Wonder Years, it's like, all right, well, they haven't been active since like 2015. I know they released some random song in 2019, but they haven't been a band for a while. So this drops New Year's, and as always, I got thoughts. You listened to it though, Tone, right?
I did, yeah. And I'm not as well versed in them. I didn't come up with them as they were like happening, but paid attention obviously through the podcast and talking to you about them. This record was not what I was expecting when I put it on, but I liked it. There was some different I got some Arcade Fire vibes. I got some Block Party vibes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a band that
Yeah. And I wasn't sure I liked that. And then I listened, like, really paid attention to a couple of the songs the second time through. I'm like, oh man, all right, no, I like that. This is something that's gonna grow on me. I know, Nate, you haven't listened to it yet, but it's a record that I think, had it come out in May, might be on my top 5 at the end of the year. And that's a question I have for you guys: is why put it out on the first?
Nate, I want you to react to this. Just even forget, like, well, don't forget the band because that's what we're talking about. But like, why would a band release an album that's been shelved for 4 years on the 1st of January?
Well, first of all, it's a Tuesday, right? So
No, it was Sunday. Dropped on a Sunday.
It's a Sunday.
oh, it's a Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I take that back.
I know you were globetrotting, so it's hard for you. We get it.
Oh, that's
I know,
right.
huh?
You were in the future.
Yeah, all over. But if you're saying that they were sitting on it for 4 years, it looks like it may align with, a tour support slot and having something to present to who's ever paying that bill. Hey, we are going to be supporting a record. This is the one we've had in the bag for a while, so we're going to drop this. Cool. Well, you already booked for the tour. When you drop the record first, we'll do it on the first. Boom, like that. So checking a box, but also the urgency might be there just for the obligations. Additionally, they probably sat on it for 4 years and realized, hey, we really put something out strong here. Let's start the new year fresh and right out of the gate on the first and see how it translates. And then on top of that, the first of the year, you get like the ultimate cleanest data because day 1, 2023 going forward.
I think it's a go left when everyone's turning right move, where I don't think anything was released on that day. So you're getting as many eyeballs as you probably could. It was announced a few days ago now that they're going to have some label collective called Funeral Plant, which is actually the name of one of the tracks, with Run for Cover. And that's actually where Fireworks started, and kind of who put Run for Cover on the map is Fireworks before they signed with Triple Crown. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, if there's tour plans, I would think so. Although I will say, some of these songs are going to be fucking hard to pull off live. There's a lot of studio magic, I think, in these songs. And they're great live. It's just, there's almost like some orchestral and choral vibes throughout it that would be hard to replicate. And Tone, I'm glad you said Block Party because MGMT came to mind. That same vibe. And also the opening track, I forget the name of it, but that's the heaviest song and fastest song they've ever written. And that reminds me of like Refused and the Blood Brothers and like Fear Before the March of Flames, like that world. I remember turning it on. I was like, what am I in for?
Right.
Because you said you didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect. It reminded me of just, I don't know, like having a friend in your mid-20s, not talking with them for 10 years, reconnecting. You still have all those memories, still have all this back catalog, but it's good they've changed. If they were still that same old person, you'd be like, well, that's cool, but I've moved on,
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think maybe Nate's point of like the label, or not the label, the tour support thing, and like, yeah, we do have something for it. It's going to be different. There's a reason to come see us. We've got new songs is in play. The other thing is, you said they were on Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Maybe there was like a drop dead date for that label, and they wanted this to go out on their own kind of thing with Run for Cover, and instead of giving it to a different label, they're giving it to their thing. So maybe that's could be a thing. But yeah, it's good. I like it. I'm going to spend some more time with it. I just wish, because it's one that I think we're going to be talking about next December and be like, man, remember that? That was really good on the 1st of January, but like, I didn't come back to it enough because so much happened between then and now. And I listen? Does it stick around? And sometimes that doesn't always happen. Now, the same thing can be said if you drop something on November 15th. Do we had enough time with it for it to be in the top 5 and year-end lists? This will probably be there for a lot of people, but we only do 5, so it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. It could get buried just because it's so. I mean, the first of the year is insane. Twan, you said something that just made me like think. The complexity you were talking about, is it complex in, I guess, the example of Block Party, like technicality wise? I always think of the drummer in Block Party just like this animal. Is it like energy wise, super up tempo, and may be hard to translate live because of the fact that it's 4 years in the making, or even maybe recorded 4 years ago?
I think it's more like you'd have to kind of listen to it to understand what we're saying, but there's like almost a chorusy choral orchestra type of vibe, which never existed before this album, that I think live would just be a little more stripped down. And hey, maybe that's a place where you rely on the audience to come through, you know? Who knows?
Yeah, and harder to pull, right. And if they don't, it's harder to pull off live. So that makes sense to me.
But overall, like I think it'll take more listens to like truly digest, because like half of my brain is back with the pop punk band that I saw open for Newfound Glory and Balance and Composure, and the other half is like these dudes are all 35 and probably have kids, and they're in a different place in their lives, and they've had bands between that, like the last album and stuff. So my head's in both places, but I think I'm gonna end up with this being like one of the albums of the year for me.
It's cool that you say like, yeah, you meet that friend that you lived with when you were 25, and you run into them 10 years later, and they're not this. You don't want them to be the same. Like I like that they've taken a chance, is what it sounds like. I'm not super familiar with the back stuff, but I like that they've taken a chance on something new in a couple of different ways. Putting a record on the first, putting their name behind maybe a new collaboration with Run for Cover with the Funeral Plant thing, and then doing something different musically, because you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you're a band, everybody wants you to sound the same, but they also want you to do something different. So it's really hard. And hey, put yourself out there, take a chance. I can respect that.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. I think they posted on socials, album dropping tomorrow with the track list, and even the visuals are a departure. Like the last two albums had like a cartoony type of characters on it, and this is just a photo that's kind of very, very dark, and it's almost looks like a flowers or a jungle or something. It's hard to describe. But
it's a question for you guys on this. Just made me think of the success, the hockey stick growth of Turnstile, kind of in all avenues. Is this another example of, hey, we're going to go this direction because it may open a lot of doors for us?
My initial reaction is just they've evolved as humans and interests and musical interests, and less about we're gonna make a go at it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Because bands of this ilk either went on to be Turnstile or Story So Far, or they did the route that they end up going in and they broke up in the mid 2010s.
I agree. I think this is this is just where we are musically, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. They don't, and it may take a little of the world by storm with what they're doing in their corner of the music internet world, but I'm not sure it's going to be, holy crap, look, listen to what Turnstile did, and then a year later they're in a Taco Bell commercial. You know what I mean? Like, that's not happening.
No,
I don't think here.
No.
Yeah. Well, it's a loaded question, right? Because it's not like, I'm not saying, and it actually was especially highlighted with Brian McTernan, it's like the band's not necessarily writing to fit some kind of mold. They're creative no matter what the music is. It's coming from the heart regardless. They're not like, I don't know, they're not some pop punk, they're not some pop, industry plant where essentially they got a team of songwriters. So it's still coming from a real honest place, but in some direction, hey, we could go left or we could go right. And I think Turnstile did that, but with no intention to move units as much as just, this is where we are today, but we can also, like you said, art-wise, directionally wise, there's a lot of decisions that can be made to put it in a whole different bucket. And I thought that maybe this might be going in that, but maybe it's not conscious, so there's just so many layers of complexity here. But I'll have to check it out and kind of not always be relatable with the audience. Like, wait, what is this? I gotta check it out.
You'll like it, Nate, because you pushed me to Block Party years ago. I remember, and this is a tangent, I was in Bull Moose, and this has got to be 10, 12 years ago. And I texted Nate and I was like, bro, I just need a new CD. What should I buy? And you were like, Silent Alarm, Block Party. And I went and got it. Do you remember that?
Hell yeah. Nice. Yeah. I mean, we all do it, right? We all do it to each other. So
yeah. I just didn't have anything that I wanted that day. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get a rec from a friend. And Nate's, at the time, I was like, Nate'll know. He'll give me something. And you gave me that. And I picked it up and boom. Now we're talking about a band that sounds similar to that, 12 years later.
It's cool because I'm a product of my environment. Like the people I was with in that, and I think I was in New York City, like that band was like huge. And like the people I was hanging out with were into that band. So it's like everything kind of like feeds into everything, moment in time and place.
Yeah. So go check this record out if you haven't. You may hear about it a ton from us, down the line, even though it just came out on January 1. and it's been out about a week plus now. So worth your time, we think.
Totally. And I'm glad they're back, and I'm glad that, and I'm sure if they do tour, it's not going to just be all new stuff. You know what I mean? I think it'll be probably a good mix. So as we always say, we're here for it. I'm in. Sign me up. They delivered, and we'll be talking about it. Who's going to start us off for
The
most
future.
anticipated? Most
The future.
anticipated of 2023. 365 days.
2023.
And 23.
That's my La Bamba impression for all you Conan heads out there. I'll go first. Fuck it. I just saw that John Frusciante announced at the beginning of December. I didn't realize this. A double album it's an electronic double album. I've listened to him in the past, solo stuff. I really liked. Was it Shadows Collide with People? I want to say that came out probably 15, almost 20 years ago now. I really liked that record. I listened to it a lot. And a friend of mine, actually, if you listen to this episode, the music that starts our episodes, made by Nomar Slevik, turned me on to his solo stuff. I was working with him back in the day, and yeah, he was like, I really like this record, and he burned it for me at Burn CD. I was in college, I was delivering car parts, and I listened to stuff like that, always looking for nerd friends, and he was one of them. Clearly, he's still one of them. But he turned me on to his solo stuff, me just not knowing any better at the time. So I'm excited to see what this might be, because he's put out some funky, weird stuff in the past, and I haven't always vibed with it, but I think, I'll have different ears just because of the podcast, and I'll an electronic record from Frusciante, like, what's that even mean?
So kind of a ignorant question from me. For his previous solo stuff, is it all instrumental? Is it all just guitars, or is there vocals?
Vocals. Yeah, he sings. Yep.
Oh, right on. And do you get much of that with the Chili Peppers?
Harmonizes, right? He harmonizes.
Yep.
Yeah. So why pivot, do you think?
I think he just likes doing different shit. I think that's him. I think he's just an uber creative guy that wants to do, he'll shred, his signature kind of almost bell tone guitar sound with the Chili Peppers, but then he'll go and make kind of weird, dark, The Empyrean or Shadows Collide with People, which is, I gotta go back and listen to it again. It's been so long, but stuff like that. And now he's going to try his hand at something else. Like, I love that idea.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think literally like the writing sessions with the Chili Peppers, he probably has just like, binded books with just so many riffs and so much material that he doesn't know what to do with. So I feel like someone eventually nudged him and I'm like, hey, dude, just do a solo thing. You got all this material, don't let it go to waste. No one likes to read like the interview, like, oh yeah, I got notebooks on notebooks just sitting. It's like everyone wants to hear it. So the fact that he goes for it is, first of all, it's a risk, right? Because you could tarnish your legacy.
That's a great point. That is a great point.
And also it could cause friction within, your day job. So there's a lot of elements there's more reasons not to than there is to do it. But he's such a musical genius that I'm happy he does. And it is beautiful music. I got into his solo stuff when he had left the Chili Peppers and was on the way back. What's that record before Californication? To only record, or no, was it to only record Water? Something like that.
Yeah, for 10 days, to only record Water for 10 days, maybe.
Yeah, and those riffs are like Californication riffs all day. So clearly he was already in sessions and then kind of maybe pulled a few for the Chili Peppers album. So it may actually, work in this unique kind of example to help his process with the Chili Peppers to kind of sort super crazy out there riffs to like, oh, this is something that's transferable to a 4-piece band.
Well, you know what happens when albums like this come out? Fans speculate why, they're like, well, why is he doing this? Are things not good in the Red Hot Chili Peppers camp? But a guy like this, and I think you see it a lot with these like huge bands with like generational talents, they do go off. Like Wes Borland, how many projects has he had? He goes off and does his thing. You have Billy Howardell doing his thing. It doesn't surprise me. And I think the punchline is it's a good thing. It keeps, like you said, it keeps everyone happy, keeps every muscle fresh and every, creative outlet flowing, really.
Yeah, that record was to record only Water for 10 days. Came out in 2001, Nate. And you're right, Twan. I think I read some stuff around this. He said, I just been writing and recording rock music for a year and a half. I need to clear my head. I mean, they just put 2 records out last year.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
It makes sense that he wants to take a little break from doing the same thing because that's just him. Like, why be burnt out? You know, they always say work-life balance. Like, go do something else that you want to do that maybe is still in the music world. And I doubt that the other guys are upset about it because that's as good as he is. Yeah, come on back when you're ready. We'll figure it out.
And until we have him on the pod, we have a question, which
Yeah,
is,
right.
do you have non-released song regret? You know, so for him, he could just press all that stuff to solo material, and he doesn't have to worry about it. So again, going back to the whole, nothing sucks more than reading in like a music interview or like quote from some artist. Oh, I got so much stuff written down, it'll never see the light of day. We'd rather all just, I think we all agree here, we'd rather just hear it and see it, because why the fuck not?
So is this rumored, or is this announcement going to happen?
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Dates are, he announced, it says early 2023. Thought I saw like February or March. So soon. Yep. And they're called 1 and 2, or like I and 2 eyes. I can't tell.
Got to keep everyone on their toes. Is it IV or 4? What is it?
Right.
All right. You want me to go, Nate, or you want to go?
I'll go second. Yeah, I mean, like you said, we were doing some research on, 2023. There's a lot to be TBA, to be announced, and a lot of TBD, to be determined. So it's kind of like a blank canvas out there. There's a lot of artists that have released full-on release dates, and the promo obviously is always proactive. So Q3 and 4 of 2022 leading into the new year. But there's one that was rumored that didn't drop and may drop this year. Now that these guys are free agents, I'm talking about one of our house bands, Slipknot. They may drop.
You stole this from me. No, go ahead.
They may release Look Outside the Window, and if they do, I will be fucking stoked, because it's a nerd album, clearly, right? What is it? The Radiohead vibes record that they put together and kind of shelved. So speaking on kind of going on that Frusciante thing, it's like, yeah, this shit's been on a shelf and it's good, and I don't know when it's going to see the light of day, and they're kind of teasing it, and I see why, because they're free agents, so they have full artistic control now to do whatever the hell they want. So timing wise, it would make sense. They are touring in 2023, so that makes sense. Sucks, I was just in Japan. They're doing Knotfest Japan in like March, so it's the perfect time to do it. Plus, at this point, they've done so much, I feel like this wouldn't even be a risk anymore. It's kind of just, hey, these guys do whatever they want now.
You're in Japan?
That's where I was.
Is that why I haven't seen you in a month?
Yeah.
Hey, can I break something to you, Nate?
What's up?
This album already came out.
Oh,
It's called The Smile.
Yeah, right. Good call, Tuan.
Wait, but Japan's in the future, though.
Yeah, why didn't you have it there? You should have found it at that Tower Records you were walking around.
They do exist.
Good call, Nate. I had this, and I saw something on the cesspool that is Reddit earlier this week in some researching, saying like that headline came out again that Clown said, hey, it might happen, but there were some good points. Everybody's like, oh, this happens every year. He says it every year. They are released from Roadrunner in April, I think is the time frame, so we might see it. We might see it this year. It makes sense that they'd put something out on their own like that and not worry a ton about, the Slipknot brand. But like, why not? They're a band that I'd love to see do something weird anyway, so I'm in for that.
So question for you guys, they're free agents. I was trying to think of what label would be a good fit, and I just kept coming back to they should just release it themselves and just get that gravy train. Yeah.
I don't think they'll pay the people to help them do all that stuff. I'm not sure they need a label for, hey, Slipknot's making headlines. How do we get this stuff out there? They don't need help.
Right. Just a one time. Yeah, you're right. Just one time, like almost like contractors, hire them one time, but they're not getting anything in perpetuity. It's the gravy's coming to the the Knot camp.
That's a good question though. Who would fit that? That might be a future segment. What label would this band fit on? Yeah,
it'd be cool for them to do some indie just to kind of pay it forward, but infrastructure wise, they wouldn't be able to support the volume. So it's major or bust. So they could self-publish with a distribution deal through Sony, something like that. I could see that happening, but who knows, man? They have entities in multiple states. I think this is, not to turn this part negative, but the band is obviously very well versed in the business world. So they lost some band members due to money situations behind the curtain.
You know what would be a full nerd, full circle moment is if this current Slipknot signed with Revelation, and they'd be in the same label as the original Slipknot, the one that was on Rev in the early 90s.
Oh, wow, yeah.
That would be interesting. See, this, I told you, this is a segment. All right, we're saving this. We got to stop there. We don't copyright, trademark, Patio Slave. Don't steal our shit. Use it. Just give credit. We love that.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Itch. They give us credit.
Yeah, shout out those guys. Scratch that itch for my most anticipated albums of 2023. I'm going to hit you guys right now with the 4-for-1 special, the buy one, get 4 free.
Oh, man.
And I took a little different approach here. This is the year of what? What am I going to say? What is this the year of? Blank is back on the map. Blank is here.
Live music.
Soft opening?
Soft opening. I don't know, man. New metal, pop punk? I don't know. Give me one.
Long Island, New York is back, baby. 4-for-1. We won't go too deep into these, but we're going Incendiary. Q1.
Fuck yeah.
Album coming out, confirmed on the Axe to Grind podcast. And they were on our Who Will Save Us from 2020 episode.
Were they really?
In January 2021. So we're going to get that album. Crime in Stereo. We've heard firsthand accounts, Sunsleeper Dudes, Brett Romney's website. Crime in Stereo's tweeting about it. It's fucking happening. Love them. I don't think we need to talk about them too much more. Koyo, new LP coming on Pure Noise. The songs they released after they signed to Pure Noise in 2022 were phenomenal. And I actually think I might have said this in another episode, but if bands were stocks, I'm buying Koyo options. I'm buying Koyo futures.
Agreed.
When that album drops, I was trying to think of like what stratosphere they would get into. I don't know. I know they're going on tour with Bayside in Q1. Like, I think that is a potential to flip flop. Like maybe the story so far is their ceiling in that world. But anyway, Koyo record, and last but not least, I Am the Avalanche. Vinny Caruana.
Yep.
Wow.
On their socials, or I think it was on his socials, right around Christmas, he said that they're like thrilled to report that they'll be releasing new music next year. So I don't know what it's going to be. EP, full length. I don't know, but like, I mean, who's left on Long Island? Like, are we going to get a Glassjaw record too? Are we getting Silent Majority coming back from the dead? Like, what are we doing?
Ooh, we might. Yeah. All those, you've got me all excited. My question to you is, of those 4, you said buy 1, get 3 free, I guess. Which one are you buying? Which one are you paying for? And which one do you want for free?
So I gotta go Crime in Stereo. They could be my favorite band of all time, but like the last album was 2010, and then they released that one-off song that was for that Amityville Music Hall benefit compilation in 2021. It's called The Good Empire. You gotta kind of dig for it online. It is so good. It's so good. Like if this new record is anything like that in that lane, or they could go weird. They could go. It's funny, we talked about Fireworks. The leap Fireworks made with that new album is the leap that Crime in Stereo made when they signed to Bridge 9, when they released Is Dead. Like I get that kind of, that leap. But yeah, Crime in Stereo, I'm buying that, and I'm getting the rest for free.
I like that. And I would probably agree with you, although I might buy Incendiary and get the rest for free. I mean, we have talked to Brennan Groan, and we way back on the our Long Island music episode, 46? I'm not looking. I'm just guessing off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Nice.
Still what about Vinny? We had Vinny on too. What's Vinny?
We had Vinny Caruana. He was 103.
Yes, he was 103.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So some, recent and kind of back in the catalog podcasts. If you want to listen to them talk about those things, go back and check those out. But I think I might be buying Incendiary and getting the other 3 for free, but I'm fucking stealing. Like, that's amazing. All those are awesome. All 4 of those bands. I'm excited to check out new music from all of them. That's the best part about kind of the new year. Like, all right, it's coming. There's more stuff coming. We just had this kind of lull this year and, month and a half of we're not getting a lot. It's going to be quiet. The music industry kind of slows down. bands don't make announcements, and then bam, it's January 1. All right, let's start seeing some stuff, and we're going to get a ton of it coming.
Yep, IPOs left and right with bands. To your point, Anthony. And actually, you know what's cool about that analogy is like these bands like have like the portfolio, like they have like the bio, they have like the backstory to like really tell a really good story for like some really strong future growth. You know, it's like, hey, the time is now. Like they've been grinding forever. Like let's go. So that analogy actually is really fucking cool for the music industry, because it's not just like out of it. It's not like brand new, fresh. What is this? It's like, no, these guys have been at it. They've been chipping away, and it's a new year. And so let's go.
Well, the other thing that I don't want us to lose sight of is some of these bands, the fact that music's coming out, the fact that it's not coming out till maybe 2023 isn't necessarily their fault. You know, there's supply chain issues with pressing, and I don't have this on my list, but I am going to check out the record when it comes out. But Drain signed to Epitaph, and that album is coming out in May. And I know that because the singer was on Finn McKenty, Punk Rock MBA's podcast, and he was talking about how the album, I did the math, it was like from when the album was complete to when it was getting released was like 10 months.
Wow.
So we always speculate about why isn't this coming out? You know, sometimes it's the band dragging their feet and not finishing it. Others, it's how long it takes now.
Yeah, that, and I'm going to say it before Nate does, we did just come out of a pandemic.
Right.
So, like, we talking to the Sunsleeper guys a few weeks back.
That's right. They
sat on While You Can for almost 2 fucking years.
Right. Oh my God. Can you imagine?
There's all kinds of things that cause upheaval. It's frustrating, obviously, if you're trying to get your name out there and get off the ground like a band, you know, say as Koyo would be or Sunsleeper is, to be able to have to sit on that stuff and not be able to just put it out. It's got to be so frustrating when it's done and you're like, we really like these songs. We want the world to hear them. Sorry, the vinyl won't be ready till, I think Sunsleeper's not even out yet. It's January.
No,
like,
I don't
we
think
still haven't seen it yet. And that came out in October, and I want that in my hands right now, you know?
I think that this same scenario is playing out with Koyo, because they signed to Pure Noise Q2, early Q3 of 2022, released 2 or 3 songs, and, you know, I don't know if I would have done it that way.
But there's 75 copies of Midnights at fucking Newbury right now. If you really want to go get that, I bet Adele's 30 is still chilling too. If you want that from last year, so
and
sorry.
Red Hot Chili Peppers 40 copies of Dream Canteen. 40 variants. Anyway,
at like $80 too. Like, fuck you guys. I might buy that for 40, but $80 is ridiculous. Sorry.
Jeez. Hey, save that that's the airing of grievances episode. We'll have that
someday. We'll do that someday.
Bottle up your energy and just take a swing at everyone. So that's me. That's my anticipation is Long Island. It's the year of Long Island.
You've got nothing else?
Well, I mean,
I'm kidding. I've actually got something else for you.
Let's hear it.
You ready?
Roll into it.
So I don't have any other records per se. There are bands that I hope put stuff out this year. Manchester Orchestra, Turnstile, stuff like that. I'd be excited for new music from a lot of different corners of the music world, but I'm excited for shows, and not the way that I typically would be excited for shows. I know Nate has been talking about the soft opening for a while, and now it's a grand opening, and 2023 is going to 2023 is going to be this massive release. There's going to be all these shows, and there's festivals and shows, and stuff's already starting to come into focus, but I am excited to go to things that I've never gone to before. And I did this about a month ago with Twan. I went to my first hardcore show, and we had a blast, right? In Portland, Maine.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's back. It's back, baby.
Yeah, we saw Chris Link, who we've had on before with Cruel Hand. We saw Maddie with The World, the guys from The World, Maddie and G and Miyagi. They came to Maine and played with, how many bands? 6 bands?
It was 6, yep.
And on a kind of a snowy night in early December, and I had a blast. Like, I've never been to a show like that. The energy is obviously next level. I'm excited to do stuff like that in 2023, where I'm going out into the world musically and finding something I don't know about and seeing if I like it and dipping my toe into the water. That's what I'm excited for this year.
You know what comes to mind? I'm in full agreement. I want to keep going to that stuff, but I do want to expand a little bit. You know what I mean? And one that comes to mind, which I had a ticket, but I had to sell, is the War on Drugs at the State Theater last
Same.
year. I can't remember what it was. I think I had sick kids, you know, and who knows, like when they come back, they're probably going to be too big for the state. You know what I mean? So I missed my time, you know, so it's see them while you can. I'm going to pollinate, continue to pollinate, put these shows in my calendar, you know, and it's a reminder, and I'll go to as many as I can without disrupting things at home and here.
Yeah, you can't do everything, but we're going to try.
I mean, it's part of the business at this point, right? So it's like, hey,
it's a write-off.
Yeah, I got a meeting. I got a meeting or a date night.
Yeah.
I got a meeting or a date night.
I'm working
Depends
late.
on how you feel about this band.
Yeah.
I'm working late. Don't you work from home? Yeah, I'm working late. Don't come downstairs.
Overtime. Man, so that hardcore show, that's buy one, get 5 free. Similar to that analogy earlier. I like that, dude. I think it's proper timing because, yeah, see as much as you can, as often as you can, support small, medium, large, especially the small and medium, because we've been talking about them for 3 years and now we can actually, go. Obviously there was a lot of shows last year, but we had Spose on here. He said everyone is touring, but a lot of those big tours were big artists. So now it's like everyone in between can kind of start to book some gigs too. So there's a big reason to get out there and check out some gigs.
Actually, speaking of gigs, I'll tell you real quick what I have lined up, confirmed in hand. I did get a ticket to that Blink Turnstile show. It was a birthday present. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought it. For Christmas, I got a ticket to the Newfound Glory acoustic tour.
Oh, yes.
Down in Somerville.
Somerville, okay. Yep.
Yeah, and it's like a 500 to 600 cap, and they're playing like all like some of the venues look like churches, like almost like church pews. Like it was really intimate stuff. Yeah, just really intimate venues. What else? Geez, maybe that is it.
Do you have a Wonder Years ticket?
Oh, the Wonder Years. Yep, Wonder Years at the State Theater in Portland. I do want to go to Anthrax and Black Label.
So do I, yes.
And I looked at tickets, and they're coming down in price. They're like, you can get in the door with a $20 bill, I think.
Wow. And that's the thing. Like, it'll depend on what's going on, because it's the middle of the week, right? I think it's like a Tuesday or Wednesday night. And I really want to go because of how much fun I had seeing them at Tattoo the Earth back in August. But I remember how much I really enjoyed BLS. Like,
yeah,
I gotta see that again. Like, that was
that's where
awesome.
I'm at.
Yeah. So if it's $20 or $25 the night of, yeah, I'm grabbing a ticket.
And that's the smallest venue you're gonna see Zakk Wylde, because he's now taking over for Dimebag, right, with Pantera. So
yeah, so he'll be dialed in. Not that he's not dialed in. I mean,
right. I think that's all I have is Wonder Years, which is sad. I need more stuff.
Well, there is a show coming up at the same venue that Cruel Hand played. It's the Chisel from the UK. They're going to be over here, and End It from Baltimore. End It, if I could redo my year-end list, they probably would have been an honorable mention with their EP, their LP that dropped last year. But
nice, yeah.
So what do we get for? Do you have any more albums, Stone?
In proper that I know might happen? No, everything's kind of rumored, or it's the cycle. You know what I mean? Like those are the things that I'm hoping for a Manchester Orchestra record, because I loved Million Masks of God. It was my number one in 21, but it's probably a little early. If we see it, it'll be the end of the year, probably Q4.
Yeah.
But strong chance that we do, and strong chance that it's my number one of the year again, because they're one of my favorite bands.
What about you, Nate? You get any more anticipated albums?
Well, that's the thing. There's a lot of TBA, TBD. A lot of people saying, cryptic things, but I wonder if it's supply chain related. Like, let's not even. We can't give us a solid date, so we just won't, and we'll just keep it as is. So, Queens of the Stone Age is one, like, way overdue on a record. Would be great. We live in strange times. They make strange music. It's a perfect fit. And one note I wrote down for Queens of the Stone Age is there's a shortage of festival headliners, and they've kind of climbed the ranks over the last 6 years or so, from like theater to like full on festival bill headliner for good. They've earned it. So they need to come back to almost fill that spot, let alone put out some new music. And I think it would be awesome if they did. One record I did actually have kind of goes with your shows that you have upcoming is the Newfound Glory record. I know it's acoustic, but I think we share kind of some feelings on the record Coming Home, and I really like that record. I like that record because it really showcases Jordan's songwriting ability. He's got a really simplistic but sing-along way of writing and singing, especially. So I feel like that acoustic record and that tour is really going to showcase his abilities in a different light. So I'm looking forward to that record. Drops on the 20th of January, so that's coming up. It's the only one I have as a confirmed date for a record, but the last time I saw a band that was not usually an acoustic type artist was Seven Dust back in like 2004 when they did an acoustic tour. Lejean, I know we had Lejean from Seven Dust on, and that guy can sing like the best of them. So it was really cool to see. So I think this will be Jordan's time to shine in that same regard.
Two things. Seven Dust has a record coming out too. We talked to Lejean right after they finished of it. We should see that this year, and that'll be cool to check out, especially now that we talked to him around that time back in August. The other thing is I got the second pressing of Coming Home when they repressed it. I got in on it and I got one. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Yeah, that's on its way.
That's awesome. I'm glad you brought that up, Nate, because I think we collectively love that album. We talked about it. It's a special place, that album. And
I know the words to every song from start to finish. One of the few records where I can do that.
It's nonstop. But I do get those kind of vibes with the new songs. I think they've put out 2. Can I hit you guys with a little nerd fact you guys may or may not know about Jordan?
Hit it.
Yeah.
I just found this out, and I'm a diehard New Found Glory guy from way back. We all are, I think. I just found this out when I was reading up on these new songs. He did a collaboration record like 3, 4, 5 years ago. That's more on the countryside.
Really?
More on the countryside of things. It's like a country infused style album, and you can tell it's him, but you kind of can't tell it's him.
Interesting.
I will send this to you guys after we record this, because I listened to it like the night I read about it, and I was like, this is pretty cool.
Nice. I like that. Did he do it with Maddie from Zebrahead, who just left to do a country thing himself?
Oh, no. Really?
Yeah. Mendon Hale, I think, is the name of the band he's in now. But yeah, that's interesting. I had no idea that he did that, and I'm intrigued now. And this is another one of those, like, do I really, like, Tony from 10 years ago is like, whatever, like, I don't care. But Tony today, with the pod and all the things that we want to kind of dip our toe into, that's something that I would check out for sure.
Well, because you know what this reminds me of? You sent, Tone, I think a few months back, you were like, today I learned Nick Hexum as a solo record or something. What was that?
That sounds thing. Right. Yeah. No, I think it was. I had no idea.
Yeah, I had no clue.
Nate knew.
He saw him on the solo tour. He saw Steve Ewing solo. He's seen him solo.
He's hung out with him backstage. He's had 9 things for them to sign. Yep.
Oh man. Well, the Jordan thing I did not know about, but similar to him, I think one show you said you were going to check out in the new year was like Head Automatica. So speaking of like Daryl and like Glassjaw and Head Automatica, like completely different styles of music. We like that. I think we liked it then, but we especially like it now because it just shows like, hey, fucking do it all. Why the hell not? Someone's gonna like it.
I get one more for you guys.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, hit me 3 times. Let's go.
I mean, this will be the most obvious one on the planet. As Friends Rusts. When we had Damien on back in October of 2021.
21. Yeah, 21.
Yeah, 2021. Yeah. He said that there was a record done, and then recently on the As Friends Rusts Instagram account, they storied. I forget the label. End Hits Records, maybe, I can't remember. They storied a post from them that said basically it was a hint that a band from Gainesville that hasn't released an album and whatever is going to be releasing something. So I assume that's it and not a re-release. And again, I don't know if it's EP or LP. I assume LP, just in the way Damien talked. But this would be the first LP since one in 2001.
That's wild.
Wow, damn,
22 years ago. That's like hum level between albums. I mean, they had that 7-inch in 2020 up from the muck on and another song on it. But I'm stoked for that. Like, there's vinyl. I assume there is because they're working with this label. I think it's a European label too, so I'm sure there'll be vinyl, and I'm sure I'll pay out the ass for it. But
yeah, there might be 3 of us paying out the ass for it.
I'm fucking stoked on that. Like, sign me up.
I absolutely, and we were, Nate and I were both not late to, but you told us about As Friends Rust, and then we had Damien on to talk about one 2 years ago, almost a year and a half ago now, and that was such an awesome conversation that we split it into 2 parts and put it out as 2 episodes because it was so fucking good.
One of the best.
Yeah, and it was it made me, he's such a thoughtful dude. It made me super stoked to like dig deeper into what he does musically, and obviously got into that record, and now I'm excited for new As Friends Rust. So that's a great call. I had forgotten about that.
I kind of did until I saw that the other day. I was like, oh shit. Like, this is the year of fucking my Mount Rushmore bands.
I know. He's going to get a knock on his social media door as well for once, I'm sure.
Yeah, just get him wine drunk. Those are his words. Just get him wine drunk and let it rip. Talk about his love for Turnstile. I get one more, and I'll just say it by name. We don't even have to talk about it. Is With Honor. They re-released Heart Means Everything through Pure Noise last year, and I literally bought 5 copies of it. I think.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Did you really? That's
variants.
nerdery, friends.
Oh yeah, and they've been kind of like hinting at, big year for us, blah blah blah. So it's a band I love, followed since 2003, back when they were on Stillborn, Josta's label, and yeah, that's one I'm stoked for.
That's cool. I know you ride for them, and I love that Pure Noise has done what they've done.
Yeah.
They haven't stuck, like, they're a rock record label, right? I mean, it's different pieces of the world for sure. They're all over the map, but I love what they've done. They have Spanish love songs for a hot minute. They have With Honor. They have fucking Knock Loose. They're all over the fucking map. It's so cool.
It's like Victory with integrity, and not the band Integrity, with moral integrity.
Nice.
It's like us if we could afford to press records.
Yeah. We would try to bring all these people in. I mean, these are clearly, we're talking about all of these bands tonight. Like, we're not looking for one thing. We're looking for a bunch of different things because we love it all.
Yeah.
I hope people that listen, it comes across as authentic, and I think I think with Pure Noise, it does come across authentic. It's what they like.
All right, that's all I had. I think, Nate, do you have anything else?
Not necessarily, but I want to, echo what you said about the live shows. And maybe I'm not looking forward to, and clearly, none of us rose our hand on this, but bands that are coming back together, maybe not necessarily looking forward to the new music, just given the probability of it being somehow better than what they put out. So, example, Blink-182. I'm happy to see them back together, like with Tom proper playing live is going to be fucking rad. Is the new record going to be better than self-titled? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, probably not, but who knows?
You're right. We don't know.
Not. Yeah, probably not.
So same goes for Metallica. Same goes for The Cure. Same goes for, Pearl Jam that's putting out a new record next year. So I'm looking forward to the tours to support those records. Am I looking forward to those records most anticipated? Not really. And actually, that's why like your buy one get 4 free to one with like the Long Island scene. It's like, well, dude, that music's still fucking relevant as fuck, and like it deserves the time.
Nate is frozen up, so we're gonna kill some time here. You have tuned into the Patio Slave waiting room music. There he's back. The Patio Slave waiting room music is over. Nate, resume.
So moral of the story, we're rooting for the underdogs.
Yes, we're rooting for the underdogs, but I like where your head is at, and it's kind of crazy none of us said Blink.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Because, I mean, that's an album I'm staying up till midnight. Like, I'm
I'll
not
listen to it when it comes out. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not pretending I'm not going to wait till midnight. Like, and Nate's in the future, so he's actually already heard it.
Yeah, Nate was in Japan, if you didn't know, and he heard it, and he just actually, the reason that we just had a glitch was he was coming back from the future to tell us about it.
Yeah.
He's got DeLoreans and everything in the basement right now, so.
It was at a Tower Records listening station, and he had that.
Bed Bath and Beyond? Oh, man.
Click. The movie Click.
That was a great movie, actually.
Yes, that was the movie Click, yes.
Great? Really? Was it great? I don't know.
It wasn't great. It was terrible. Kate Beckinsale is hot. We get it. It's not a great movie.
I think I clicked that movie off, Nate. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to rank our favorite album movies.
Adam Sandler movies? All right.
The Cobbler.
Happy Gilmore's 1, Billy Madison's 2. But if I was like 15 years younger, I had to flip those.
Don't mess with the Zohan?
Saw that in theaters with my brother. Regret it.
51st
Dave
Dates.
Matthews in that movie as the like a villain kind of redneck.
And 51st Dates, he's Dave Matthews.
Was that when he flooded the ocean with shit? Was that before?
Oh, that was the Chicago River. And we're off the fucking rails. I love it.
Hey, this is the year of what is this the year of? If
I
we
think
were
you said it was
summarizing.
Long Island, I think earlier, but
Besides Long Island.
okay.
I want to hear you guys. Like, is this the year of
Ugh.
is this the year of new music? Is this the year of bands breaking up? Is
Grand
this the year?
opening.
I think it's the year of the cash grab, is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
I think that was like the last 2 years.
Yeah, they're all cash grabs. Every year is the year of the cash grab.
The
Hey,
year
here's Metallica.
of the expensive meet and greet.
Yeah.
Hey guys, do you want to buy a ticket to a Metallica show that's a year and a half away?
Oh my god.
This is the year of the cash grab. I'm with Nate.
Wow, you nailed it. You did.
Yeah.
Although, who was it? The guy from Fear Factory said, "Hey, we're not gonna do meet and greets." And my first reaction was like, "Did they ever do them anyway?" But yeah, some people are on different ends of that spectrum. But hey, most big bands, yeah, cash grab, repress, expensive touring, all inclusive VIP shit. Like this is,
Mm,
t-shirts, hoodies, wristbands, koozies, you name it.
Yeah, it's half make up for lost time, half like people are somehow willing to pay for it. So, I mean, the Blink tour, you got in somehow, but I opted out, and I didn't want to.
I didn't. I don't even know how the person got it might not even be a real ticket. I don't know.
That's one of those. I maybe will look as it gets closer to see if they're going up or down, and if they come down a little bit, I might join you, Twan. That'd be fun.
Nice. I think I have a solo seat too, so might have to weasel my way down to the floor, pull a Nate,
That's a Nate move right there. Yeah.
end up backstage.
Just make up. We're pretty good at like the social media stuff and the images. You especially, Twan, because you do all of our artwork. You could make a fake pass to get backstage. Let's go.
Ooh.
That's right. You see those TikToks of like, this is how I snuck in, with a pass, or I buried this bottle of vodka for Riot Fest.
Exactly. Awesome. Yeah. So that is what we're anticipating in 2023. And we'd love to hear what you guys think. Hit us up. All of the places you can. You'll hear them just in a second. But we'd love to know what you're anticipating seeing, whether it be music or concerts or grand opening, whatever, all that stuff. What do you think? What's going to be the big thing for you this year?
Yeah, because there's obviously stuff we missed. One more call to action that I want to throw out there is we're rounding out our interview and guest schedule for the rest of this quarter. Let us know who you want us to see interview. Any guests. Doesn't even have to be band members. It could be someone in the industry. We're open to it. We'll try to get them. At this point, there's certain people that are off limits, but you'd be surprised. We can weasel our way here and there.
Yes. Nate's made so many backstage passes for us to weasel our way in. So we're going to do it.
But let us know. Hit us up. We'd love to. I'm sure there's someone that we haven't even thought of. Or there's probably people that you're thinking of that we've asked a couple times already.
Yeah, we'll tell you too. If you email us, we'll let you know. Yeah, we've tried.
No.
The year of the weasel. Let's go.
And like NPR, this is supported by viewers like you.
It really is. All right, peace, potheads.
Da 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 da. Peace.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to Podio Slave. We are at Podio Slave on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the places that you can find us on social media. Facebook, Podio Slave Podcast. YouTube, Podio Slave Podcast there. Email us at podioslavepodcast@gmail.com. And hey, if you want to become a supporter, click on the link at the bottom of the episode and give us $1, give us $5. It keeps the lights on, keeps us going. We really appreciate that stuff. Thank you.
So the whole debacle with Chris Fenn and the departure on money management and so forth. So I could see. God damn! I just got lost completely.
we were laughing.
We're laughing at debacle because debacle's funny to me.
God damn. Hey, for 2 hours of sleep and
Throw that at
traveling
the end.
You're good.
3 different countries.
We're good. You're good.